Nicholson are able. They'll look for their free throw.
Now Nicholson moves.
On a great pass.
They're going to go the 2 point. It's all over. It's all over.
Oh, it's over.
It's over. Tornadoes win the elimination final.
Oh.
And the girls are absolutely ecstatic.
That is insane. What the game of the year.
This will be one of the most famous victories in the Tornadoes history.
So it was heartbreak for the Hobart Chargers women's side and absolute joy and pandemonium for the Launceston Tornadoes as we relived the last 20 seconds of the women's elimination final from the deck last Friday night. Hello everyone, welcome to Charging into the Postseason. I'm Ronald Riggs for Chargers TV. Alongside me, Trent Arnold, Justin Bryan, and what a big weekend it has been in basketball, folks. We are on location. We've gone from Studio A to Studio B, so we made a short trip from one studio to the other. And boys, we're going to get straight into it. The boys from City Park Radio described it as the game of the year as far as the women's elimination final is concerned. Biggest game in Tornadoes history as described by David Moore from City Park Radio. Boys, give me your thoughts. And Trent, I'll start with you. 86-82 was the scoreline and you couldn't ask for a better game than that.
Yeah, it was an incredible game, Ronnie. You could tell from the start of the game that the Tornadoes were there to play. I mean, every time they made a bucket, the bench was up and about and you could really tell they wanted to play. They brought that intensity and the Chargers did well to hold the lead for most of the game. I think I checked the box score afterwards and they led for 37 minutes. So it was incredible of the Tornadoes to come back towards the end there. And yeah, just a huge performance from those girls.
And Justin, you were able to see the game live and hear a bit of the commentary from David and Scott. What were your thoughts?
Well, it was one of those games where you were never quite convinced that it was over. It didn't matter what point of the game it was. Hobart always consistent at home, we all know that. Launceston very gallant in their fight, have been all season. And heading into that last quarter, I think it was hands on deck, at the deck. And yeah, it was just unbelievable to see it happen. The last 5 minutes of the last quarter, probably some of the best basketball that anyone in Tassie's seen for quite a long time.
Let's check out the key players as we throw the graphic up to you, and we'll start with the Chargers. Alex Chirbertoni with 23 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists. Kathleen Shear with 22 points, 8 rebounds and 5 assists. JB, you couldn't ask for more than that from your top 2 players in this side.
Absolutely not. And I mean, as we mentioned in the lead-up, people like Shana Thompson and Michaela Roof are also going to be key to that game. Michaela brought her rebounding skills and Shana brought her shooting skills. They were lights out in that department. Alex went off with a bit of an ankle concern there in the last quarter. We were a little bit iffy as to how she was going to go. And Kathleen, you know, coming off that unlucky bout of not winning the MVP, she came out and tried to prove her point as much as she could. So, yeah, you really can't ask for much more of a contribution from those guys.
And Trent, Launceston, Lauren Nicholson with 32 points, 8 rebounds, 2 assists, and Taylor Roberts with 27, 7 rebounds and 5 assists, played a key and vital role for the Tornadoes win here.
Yeah, they were just unstoppable. I thought that Michaela Roof actually did a pretty good job on Lauren Mansfield there, coming off Opal's bid. She guarded her for most of the game, kept her pretty quiet, but it was Taylor Roberts and Lauren Nicholson there. We just couldn't stop them. And I thought it was really impressive for Shana Thompson, actually, like you mentioned, that she shot the lights out, did not shy away from the big moment. So it was good to see one of the young Chargers locals there playing a big game in a big pressure moment.
And Justin, any final thoughts here, mate, before we go to break?
Oh, I think it was just an absolute shock. I mean, if you go back and you look at the very final moments of that game, the jump ball, the rebound that they grabbed, the turnover that we had, the determination shown by Lauren and the girls from Launceston was commendable, and congratulations to the Tornadoes and commiserations to the Chargers.
And as quickly, my thoughts were an absolutely fantastic game of basketball. Both teams played out right to the end. If you check the predictions from last week, I was probably the closest one. as the boys get a bit shocked about that. But great game, and all credit to Launceston. They played their hearts out. And JB, I thought you were going to have some egg in your face.
Well, I think I do, Ronald. If anyone will go back and look at the tips last week, I tipped Hobart to win by an 83-64 margin, about 20 points. Trent, you picked double digits. Ronnie picked an overtime win. Unfortunately, got the old egg in the face. So here, Launceston, the old egg in the face. Just have to cop that and live with it.
Well, very true comments there from JB as chocolate goes all around the floor here, or thank goodness it's not egg yolk. We'll take a break and we'll come back with more right after this.
3-point shot. Good. That's number 4 for the Hobart Chargers, Robert.
And welcome back. As you've seen there in the commercial break, there are a few highlights from the men's game as the men travelled to Ballarat and we're playing in the major semi-final against the Ballarat Miners. Here are the scores for you now. It was Ballarat defeating Hobart by 4, 81-77. And, of course, Tommy Garlop was the top scorer for the Chargers with 22 points and 16 rebounds. He threw in a double-double. While for Ballarat, it was Marvin King-Davis with 19 points and 14 rebounds. He was a key difference. And Craig Moller, the Melbourne United player, 16 points and 10 rebounds. And gents, close game. Unlucky for the Chargers to lose this one and drop that chance to host the South Conference final. But, geez, that was a tough game. Trent.
Yeah, tough game. Unfortunately, didn't get to watch as there was no live stream, but you can see from the highlights and the box score there that the inside presence there of the Miners was really huge. I mean, 11 blocks there for them and 3 to Hobart. I think that looks like the difference when you're having a look at it, and just hope that Hobart can come back this week at home and continue that run of dominance they've had all season.
And Justin, your thoughts here?
A few key players didn't fire for the Chargers. Mathang was fairly quiet. Rob was pretty quiet. If you go back and look at it, though, we've had tight contests with Ballarat all season, and this has been no different. Unfortunately, didn't come away with a win, but nonetheless, we do have a double chance for a reason.
Absolutely we do, and such a close game towards the end there. There's some bad decisions from the Chargers late on in the fourth quarter kind of cost them, where Ballarat were able to capitalise and take the win, and they will host the South Conference Grand Final next week in Ballarat. It will be a Saturday night game, and that tip-off will be 7:30pm. We'll take a break, and we'll break to a quick interview with Lauren Mansfield, and we'll see you right after this. Just one player I want to mention, Rebecca Abel. Rebecca coming from the West Coast, as am I. I'm a former West Coast person myself too. But her development, and she played some solid defence tonight. Have you kind of mentored her throughout the season and gave her tips here and there?
Yeah, I mean, I think I try to. I also play with her in Penguin as well. So I think me and Beck have a good relationship, and she just keeps getting better every year I come back. So I'm really proud of her development, and I think she's gonna go places.
Welcome back. As my interview with Lauren Mansfield there, and she's very ecstatic that Launceston are through to the preliminary finals for the women on Sunday afternoon. As we'll throw the graphic up for you now, and it's going to be Geelong taking on Sydney at the arena on Saturday night, 7pm tip-off. Boys, give me a tip.
Yeah, look, Geelong have been the better team all year, so I think I'll go with Geelong there.
Wrote Sydney off last week. They proved me wrong, so I'm getting on the bandwagon.
All right, now we'll focus our attention to Dandenong and Launceston Sunday at 2pm at Dandenong Basketball Stadium. And, geez, Lonnie going with some confidence.
Yeah, after watching that game, it's hard not to back the Tornadoes. I mean, the chemistry and energy that the team brought, I mean, you feel like they could just get a win against anyone if they bring that level of intensity again. I mean, Hobart's a great side, and the way they stuck in there, they didn't give up, no quit in them. So I think they'll give a real challenge to Dandenong, but Dandenong's been the better team all season, and I think I'm going to stick there with the better team. So, yeah, Dandenong.
I'm going to avoid egg on the face. I'm not doing it 2 weeks in a row. I'm going to jump on the Tornadoes and hope they get a win.
And my tip for that one will be Lonnie to get up to. I think they've got a heap of confidence going into Sunday in Dandenong. Let's preview the the men's preliminary final now, and it will be Nunawading take it on Geelong Saturday night at Nunawading Basketball Stadium. 6:30 tip-off. Note the earlier time, folks, 6:30pm tip-off. And Nunawading coming off a loss last week, Geelong coming off a win. Thoughts here, Trent, and a tip?
Look, I think that the Spectres are going to come against Hobart the week after, so I think it's going to be a great game, and I'm expecting them to come through and face Hobart the next week.
Yeah, I'm going to take Geelong. I just think that high finish is going to help them out. And they've been a great team all season. I'm pretty sure I tipped them last week, and I'll stick with them again this week.
And I think Nutter wanting to get the win, and they'll face a rematch here. I'm going to correct you here, Trent. They're going to have a rematch with Mount Gambier in the East Conference, as the East Conference preliminary final as well too. Now let's preview the main event here. Hobart taking on Dandenong at the Doon Entertainment Centre this Friday night, 7:30pm tip-off. Tickets are on sale now through Ticketmaster, or go for our website at hobartchargers.com.au, or get on the What's On In app and buy your tickets from there. Boys, this is going to be a huge game. We're expecting a huge crowd. We're already expecting a crowd of 3,000 potentially showing up Friday night. Let's get some thoughts here, and then we'll get a tip.
Yeah, well, you're going to have to inform me of who the Chargers are going to be playing, Ron, but obviously I'm going to pick the Chargers. So, yeah, I'm backing the Chargers. obviously they've been a different side all year at home. I mean, every time they're at home, they seem to be blowing teams out, massive wins. I think the first game at home against Dandenong, they won by 35 points, and being a completely different side, everyone just brings it. So I think they're going to get this one on and continue through to the next round.
We're going to need our big guns to step up. As I said, Mathang quiet last week, Rob quiet last week, Tom and Chris consistent as always. If Mathang steps up, if Rob steps up, there's no reason to see why they won't continue on with their great home form, although Dandenong are a great club.
And I'm expecting Hobart to get this one over Dandenong. And the last two times, I think it's been Hobart 1-1. With Hobart winning at home and then Dandenong winning at their home, I think we'll get this one and expect Tom Garlop to have a huge game. That's my big bold prediction there. And they will, and Hobart to face Ballarat next week.
There we go.
Back to Ballarat. We're going back to Ballarat. You've heard it here first on Chargers TV. That's about all we have time for, fellas. We've moved to a different studio. I'm hoping we're going to be back here next week. What do we reckon there?
Yeah, nice comfortable facilities. Avoiding the egg on the face will be great. Nice comfortable facilities. A great feed provided by those here in the studio. Yeah, hopefully we're back in next week. And just a quick shout out to Beck Abel, who also played a great game, former West Coaster, for you and I, Ron. She had a great game. Hopefully she has another great game heading into this week.
Absolutely. Hear to that. Trent?
Yeah, looking forward to being back here next week and hopefully being back on the winners list as well. So that'd be great.
Absolutely, and look, thanks to everyone that tuned in last week. The show had some good viewership, which was absolutely fantastic. So thank you to those people that tune in and watch. Hopefully you'll tune in again when we put this up over the next few hours too. Just a quick shout, as you've seen the JB, a quick shout out to Wes de Bomford, who in the Northwest Coast. He a good mate of mine, and hello to you, Wes, if you're watching at home. That's all we have time for here in Charging into the Postseason. On behalf of Trent, Justin and myself, we're going to see you next week.